Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving into a massive, frankly mind-blowing shift happening right now in modern science. We are looking at how artificial intelligence is literally breaking out of the computer screen and executing physical chemistry out in the real world. We're talking about the leap from traditional, human-run laboratories to fully autonomous AI-driven systems. It's an absolutely incredible technological frontier, but as we're going to see, it brings a really complex mix of tremendous potential and some pretty severe global risks. So think about this. What good is it to computationally design a brilliant, life-saving molecule if we can't practically test it? That's the stark reality researchers are facing today. See, our AI systems can rapidly imagine new medicines, or sustainable energy catalysts, or even next-generation battery stabilizers. But physically testing those digital concepts, that remains an agonizingly slow bottleneck. At the end of the day, a design is really only as good as our ability to actually bring it into the physical world. To unpack all this, we'll quickly cover 4 key areas today. First, the execution gap. Second, building autonomous laboratories. Third, the dual-use dilemma of AI and chemical weapons. And finally, the future human role. Let's get right into it. Part 1, the molecule execution gap. You see, the central problem holding back our greatest scientific breakthroughs right now actually isn't a lack of digital ideas or computing power. It's a severe lack of physical execution capacity. This is what we call the execution gap. Basically, it means that flawless AI designs frequently collide head-on with a messy, unpredictable physical world. A digital model might perfectly outline a complex new structure, but physically synthesizing that exact molecule in a lab, that can take months, sometimes even years. And the really frustrating part? When these top-scoring AI designs are finally made, they often underperform. Physical reality is the final, uncompromising judge. Right, so the traditional scientific loop goes like this. You design a candidate, evaluate it in the lab, learn from the result, and repeat. But for modern researchers whose daily experience is literally split between writing complex algorithmic code on a laptop and then painstakingly testing physical hardware, that evaluate step is a massive hurdle. Integrating digital code with actual physical laboratory hardware is just incredibly difficult. To put it in perspective, translating high-level AI chemistry recipes into specific physical actions is a lot like that frustrating children's exercise where you have to write step-by-step instructions for a robot to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. What looks elegantly simple as a concept on a whiteboard becomes ridiculously convoluted when you have to program robotic arms to open jars, spread exact amounts of sticky liquid, and, not completely crush the bread. Which brings us to part 2, building autonomous laboratories. Okay, so science is actively building the mechanical solution to this execution bottleneck, autonomous chemical laboratories. Think of these as embodied AI systems. They're acting as the physical hands and eyes for the digital designers. Currently, the best of these systems operate as fenced-in explorers. Basically, they can move reliably inside a strictly defined physical space to actually execute and evaluate their own scientific hypotheses, totally without human intervention. It's pretty wild. But to truly accelerate vital discoveries, like those plastics recycling methods or battery stabilizers we mentioned, these robotic systems have to overcome some really messy physical limitations that purely digital software literally never faces. We're talking about handling sticky powders, pouring highly viscous liquids, and managing super-sensitive chemical intermediates. Plus, there are major robotic dexterity constraints to deal with. And maybe the hardest part? The AI has to be trained to correctly interpret highly ambiguous experimental data in real time. Moving to part 3, AI and chemical weapons. This is where we hit the dual-use dilemma. Here's the scary part. The exact same technology capable of revolutionizing green energy or curing diseases can be instantly repurposed for harm. This is the stark, dual-use reality of AI and modern chemistry. On one hand, you have this pristine digital network mapping out new molecules. But on the other, by making chemical synthesis so highly efficient and automated, the traditional barriers for malicious actors to develop chemical weapons are drastically lowered. To put this terrifying capability into perspective, one recent study revealed something genuinely alarming. Researchers took an AI algorithm and simply tweaked its parameters to seek toxicity rather than medicine. The result? It successfully designed over 40,000 potentially toxic molecules in just 5.5 hours. 40,000! That is an astonishing rate of chemical generation that human minds simply cannot manually monitor. And this kind of speed creates an unprecedented threat, because these AI models are so incredibly effective at looking at known compounds and generating novel pathways, These black box algorithms can recommend entirely new synthesis routes. This means they can create toxic chemical agents using chemical precursors that are completely missing from existing international watch lists. It makes tracking and regulating these dangerous substances almost impossibly difficult. So, in response to this severe dual use threat, we're seeing a massive push for impartial, interdisciplinary governance frameworks that are basically racing to catch up with the tech. For example, the Organization for the Prohibition of Chemical Weapons, or OPCW, has launched an AI research challenge. At the same time, the U.S. White House has issued an executive order mandating rigorous red teaming audits to continually poke, prod, and assess these AI systems for their capacity for misuse. Finally, Part 4. The future human role. So, with all these extreme risks and rewards in play, what happens to us? What happens to the human scientist? Well, if we can successfully and safely secure these autonomous systems with robust ethical frameworks, the upside is absolutely staggering. These AI-driven labs could eventually map entirely unexplored regions of chemical space. In the near future, requesting a physical, real-world chemistry experiment could become as seamless and commonplace as running a digital computer simulation on your laptop today. Consequently, the everyday role of the human scientist is going to undergo a massive shift. Instead of spending countless hours doing tactile benchwork and manual pipetting, scientists will be elevated toward higher-level strategic thinking. The job is going to be about setting the grand scientific goals, diving into interdisciplinary collaboration, and, absolutely crucially, defining and strictly enforcing the proactive ethical guardrails of these AI systems. I'll leave you with this provocative thought to consider. As AI securely takes the wheel in the physical laboratory, ensuring we steer toward human progress rather than proliferation is undoubtedly the great scientific challenge of our time. The tech is here, the autonomous labs are being built right now, and how we govern them next will literally shape the future of our world. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and keep questioning the science shaping our future.